No, actually, that's actually a great topic you bring up, Eloy, because you just touched on a very interesting phenomenon. You're 21 years old. You've had social media since you've been born. You've had computers since you've been around. It was different. I'm 40 years old, so I'm twice your age, son. And computers weren't as prevalent. The passion was there, and it was the same thing as picking up a tin can or string or hacking a phone network or cracking a corporate PBX to leave a message. Now it's the norm. The first time I heard the word modem added to a standard vernacular, I was overwhelmed. And here we are. We're talking social media, which has ramifications not only with how we communicate personally and professionally, but from a security perspective even. I run into business executives constantly who tell me that they're not using social media because they think it's a waste of time. Why should I get on Facebook? I don't have time for that. What I instruct executives is let's get you on there and build a persona, even if it says, hi, I'm so and so executive. I don't use this network. You could find me on LinkedIn. You could find me here, but make it a calling card. And when I get pushed back further of what's the point of that, well, the point of that, Mr. Customer, is quite simply this. If you don't have a presence on Twitter, Facebook, or the other prime networks, it's very easy for me to go to Spokio or just Google around and find a photo of you. Take any bit of information I gather and build that into a fake online profile. By the time I get 300 of your closest colleagues and friends and coworkers throughout your past few decades of life, nobody's going to believe that you're you when you do connect. What do you think of that?
That's pretty bad. I think one of the interesting things is that I remember dial-up. You know, even though I'm only 21, I remember being 12 when dial-up was still the main way to get your internet connection. And I remember things like people going, "These are amazing graphics," and you look back now, it's like those are still pixels. So the idea is that we have a certain level of momentum when it comes to technology and communication and computers that isn't slowing down. So, that's why the kind of things you talk about is really important. Get on it now because it's not stopping and it's not going anywhere. It just continues to move forward.
That's it. It's always been here. It's funny you mentioned dial-up. I remember my first modem physically. I had to take a phone handset and place it in. It's called an acoustic coupler. And it had these two rubber sockets that you would actually put a telephone into. You'd call up and make this noise, and you literally put in these rubber cups. And it was a haze. I think it was like a 1200 baud or maybe a 300 baud. It's amazing how far this has come, but how similar the technology is. It hasn't really changed.
I mean, it's definitely interesting. I think one of the important things is just to acknowledge the importance of it because it's being usurped into technology where it's becoming imperative. Even schools and colleges are teaching technology to their students because it's becoming part of the workforce. Twitter is being used by news outlets now to communicate with their demographics. This is something that's definitely changing the way we do things in society. And not being part of it is dangerous. It's the equivalent of being a mute. Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think this video is no longer exciting enough to record. But thank you for this 4 minutes of awesomeness.